For us in Nigeria, the misconception is that veterinary service is actually a cost. But guess what? It's actually an investment protection strategy.
There are so many people who own livestock businesses and they don't have a vet and they've been running it for so long. So
We have evidence that they've been running their business in quotes successfully, but do they have data to back it up?
So there's livestock businesses that run without the involvement of veterinarian, and people hold diverse perspectives about whether it's a necessary requirement to run a livestock business without involving a vet, or you have to have a veterinarian before you run a livestock business. So I think I would like to start this conversation on the note of, is veterinary service actually required for livestock business and why?
Is veterinary costs a necessity?
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing it. Is veterinary cost a necessity for livestock business?
Exactly.
And I think for us in Nigeria, the misconception is that veterinary service is actually a cost. But guess what? It's actually an investment protection strategy,
Okay.
right? So for me, I'll answer your question and say yes. Veterinary services for livestock farming is not an option, but a top tier, what do you call it? A top tier requirement for livestock farming as a business.
Okay, but there are so many people who own livestock businesses and they don't have a vet and they've been running it for so long. So like those kind of people, they are going to hold a different opinion and feel like probably we are trying to push the career of the veterinarians by saying they must be involved. They have the evidence that they've been running this thing and they don't use a vet. So what do you say about that?
So I need you to also understand that because there's a difference between running a business and just hustling.
Okay.
What you cannot measure cannot grow.
Yeah.
So these people are running hustles, not businesses, right?
Actually, I was somewhere and someone said, what you don't measure, you can't manage.
You can't manage.
And
If you can't count something, yes. If you can't count something, then you can't grow it.
Okay, but then I want to take their position and feel like they must have been using some things to manage the health of their animals. And that brings me to want to inquire, do you think there is actually an alternative to the relevance of veterinarians in livestock business? Everybody feels the reason you need a vet is to manage the health of your animals. And if there are people who run livestock businesses and they don't have a vet, that means they must have been doing something else
That has been sustaining them always while.
keep the health of their animals. We know the Fulani men, most of them are keeping their animals and they don't actually have, some of them don't even have access to veterinary. So do you think there is an alternative to veterinary service in livestock business?
So for me right now, I know that a few of our vet colleagues are working towards developing a community animal health worker model. And this is to support last mile delivery of veterinary services because there are a lot of factors that are hindering access to quality veterinary services in Nigeria, primarily insecurity, ignorance on the side of the farmer. Yes, because most times they're doing what they're doing, they feel, because even in the human space, that's what we think. We only think that we need doctors when we're sick. But that's why I said ignorance, right? They feel like they need a vet when the animals are sick. But guess what? You need a vet even before you purchase the animal. Because there's something called a pre-purchase evaluation, which can help you mitigate your risk and save you thousands of dollars depending on your flock size. So you actually need a vet from get-go. So an alternative for this, because we have a lot of quackery, which we're also battling as a profession, but a coordinated community animal health workers framework, which is currently being developed by both FAO and I think even at the federal, at the national level, trickling down to the subnational level, is something that can help us deliver, these services to the grassroots level because that's where they actually need it. So yes.
Okay. So I actually agree with you because some of these people who talk about owning livestock businesses without involving a vet, they don't come public with their gains and losses for us to put them side by side. And I want to actually bring this up, and I feel I want to speak for livestock farmers. You know, when you are talking about community animal health workers framework, that looks like something coming from the public side of the profession or the health management of animals. And a lot of livestock farmers, especially private business owners, they tell you the reason they can't afford a veterinarian is the costs. And I feel like, okay, how do they mean? They say the cost of veterinary service is expensive for farmers. So is the cost of veterinary service actually expensive for farmers?
Oh, you know, when you talk about expensive, that's a subjective term,
Okay.
right? Because I'm trying, from my own point of view, I'm trying to make sense of someone who wants to go and buy, let's say, 5,000 point of lay.
Okay.
As at today, how much is point of lay?
Let's say 8,000.
8,000 naira. Exactly.
Yes.
So that's if you're buying 1,000, that's how
40
much?
million there.
Thank you for
For 5,000.
5,000.
Yes, that's
How
40
much?
million. 40 million.
Thank you. So if you cannot take 1% of 80 million or
40 million.
or 40 million is how much?
Let's see, 400,000.
Thank you. Something around that. You cannot pay a veterinarian 400,000 or a group of vets. Let's even say maximum 2%. Let's move it to 2%, like 800,000.
800,000, yeah.
To go and help you check, because this is one thing we've been trained to do. Because you need to mitigate risk even before you jump into a venture.
Yeah.
So that's why I said something being expensive is subjective. That's why when I told you, I said we need to stop looking at veterinary costs, veterinary services as a cost, but start looking at it as an investment protection strategy. So that's the mindset shift I promote within farmers, within my network. You have 100 million in the bank. You're willing to protect it at all costs. You're running around with all investment, premium investment packages around. But you have 100 million on your farm and you think it's not what protecting. So that mindset shift is what we need to promote.
Okay.
Rather than debating whether veterinary services is expensive or not.
And let me cut in there. So now we are talking about people who have large scale business.
Okay.
Let's talk about small scale livestock businesses. People who have poultry farms of about 500 birds and lesser. They have maybe the cattle head is not even more than 20 in total. From their own point of view, they feel to bring a vet, even if you charge as low as 20,000 naira, they feel is high.
It's high.
Yes. So what do you say? Can we apply the same perspective?
Because for me, when you engage a vet, a discussion of what the vet is coming to do will have to come to play first. What is the value of 20 heads of cattle? To buy a bull, an 18-month bull to fatten now, you need about 450 to 500,000.
So 20 heads is like 10 million naira.
Thank you. And you think 100,000? So that's why it brings me back to the mindset.
Yeah, it's subjective.
Exactly, it's subjective. So that's what, as vets, and you know that's the good thing. I want vets to also start thinking from a business perspective.
Okay.
You need to start looking at what you're offering as a business. Because people will start saying veterinary services is a social services. Me, I have clocked out of that school a long time ago.
I understand.
We need to start looking at these things as business. Because livestock farming, livestock trading itself, we need to start trading it as a commodity.
But the whole of veterinary profession makes you feel like you have to be, is it sympathetic?
Oh, no, that's the wrong word. That's the wrong word. Because the truth is that, can you actually take sympathy to the market? No.
Of course.
And it is also upon us to enlighten our farmers, not even from the monetary angle, but from the public health and food safety angle.
Okay.
Right? So these things go hand in hand and we need to invest in them.
Okay, so I think we should talk next about a point that you brought up. So you said if someone is investing like 40 million naira to pay a vet, probably 2% of your investment should not be a big deal. So now, should a farmer actually find it difficult to pay the cost of veterinary service, looking at the stakes involved, looking at let's say we are even taking a case study in the total cost of production, because it's not just about buying the animals, you feed them, you probably have a security staff, you have housing. What percentage do you think the cost of veterinary service holds in the total cost of production?
Based on my own experience right now and the budgets and the economics of production I have done specifically for feedlotting, cattle fattening, over a period of 90-day cycle, for the entire cost, veterinary services cannot take even 5%.
So it's not even a
It's
significant,
not a significant, exactly.
but it's crucial to
It's crucial. It
total.
is important. It is non-negotiable. Because why do you keep animals? For productivity. And if there is no productivity, there is no profit. Healthy animals healthy animals will give you productivity. Okay. And that will translate to profitability. So it's not negotiable.
So now we are trying to say that farmers should look at it from the angle of you are using less to protect more.
Exactly.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay. So
That's
farmers,
the standpoint.
livestock
Yeah.
farmers, you are using less.
To protect
So
more
when you bring in a veterinarian into your
space.
you are protecting, because there is actually an experience someone shared with me, and it's hurting. The person's talked about 350 beds. That's why I made an example of small scale
farmers.
holders. 350 birds, and in just over 2 days, the person lost 100. That was when the person started looking for a vet.
Exactly.
And I looked at the analysis. I said, even if you bought these birds at 7,000 naira each, you've lost 700,000 naira. I don't think there is a vet that will charge you 700,000 to come and attend to you for 350 birds. So I now looked at it and I said, well, I think people need to have a basic understanding that we are talking about protecting your investment when we are talking about bringing in the veterinarian. So now I want to talk about that aspect. Farmers look for veterinarians when they are in trouble. What do you think about that?
It's actually a typical Nigerian kind of way. I don't need you until I'm dying.
I don't think it's Nigerian. I think I feel
It's not a global thing. Maybe in Africa, but in the West.
Okay, let me make an argument here.
Okay.
When I go on the internet, I see all these groups like Reddit, Quora, all of them. You see people asking questions.
Yeah.
My bull is doing like this, my dog is doing like
What do
this.
I do?
What do I do? And you are like, these are not Africans, they are not Nigerians. So I feel maybe it's a general problem.
Yes. So maybe
for vets,
when there is problem,
should it be like that?
It shouldn't be actually. It shouldn't be. And the fact is that, when you talk about accessibility of veterinarians, access to veterinarians as a problem, and that's because we don't plan accordingly. If you actually plan from get-go to design a herd health management, which of course will include biosecurity, to include nutrition, it will include so many things. This would prevent any unexpected, my cow is about to die. Because when you look at all those emergency cases, they are preventable. In short, I can tell you that 98% of them are preventable. Are you talking about what do you call it? Hypocalcemia in lactating mares? Are you talking about dystocia? Are you talking about lameness? Are you talking about trauma? Are you talking about all of those things? And when I talk about trauma, even from the pen design, if you design it wrongly, if you don't provide the necessary infrastructure, you definitely run into problems. So if people design from get-go with the right professionals, it's going to mitigate and reduce the occurrences of these emergencies. And again, when you go on Reddit and Quora and you see people asking questions like, what can I do? I think it's a general thing. People see animals like something I can do myself.
Yeah.
But then again, yes, I can do it myself. After all, it's an animal, and I've been around the animal for years, so I know how it's done. But again, for us, why it's a problem is we don't apply the science behind it. We don't apply knowledge behind what we do, especially here in Nigeria. Okay, you're doing what you're doing. Why? Somebody in the West will go further and do research because to them, animal welfare is a priority.
Yeah.
And if they don't prioritize animal welfare, they end up not even getting anybody to buy. Someone was telling me in Europe, they can actually pick if you use sticks to hit your cow. You know that, right? Because after flaying, you would see those signs on the quality to affect the quality of the meat. Exactly.
But we beat the
Thank you. So they are aware of these things. So even if they want to do a lot of DIYs, like I call it,
yes.
they do it with caution,
Yeah.
not beyond, what they don't do beyond their capacity.
Yes.
So yes, we might say it's a global thing, but the dynamics are different.
Okay, so there is actually a scheme that I see a lot of veterinarians run with. In a way, I feel it is to help livestock farmers. I'm talking particularly about livestock farmers because I see that they have more interest in the business angle of what they are doing. So there is always a retainer package and there is always let me just call it vet. So, and for the retainer package, sometimes they feel you have to pay whether or not there is a trouble. And they feel, okay, the only time they need to call a vet is when they perceive there is a trouble. But as at then, maybe the losses have already started. 2 animals have died. Then you are looking for a vet. But in retainer, the vet is readily available. So which would you suggest to them and why?
Of course. So a retainership, definitely. Because they say if you don't plan to fail, you will fail. I mean, if you fail to plan, you will plan to fail or something like that. If you're planning to fail, something like that. It's just like what we do even in the human space, the health insurance. Whether you get sick or you don't get sick, your insurance comes running. It keeps running. But guess what? Because we're living things, anything can happen. So you cannot within your own space just say I'm wasting money. You're not wasting money. These are preventive measures. What you will see as the farmer is different from the lens through which the vet will come and see. Your birds might be looking okay to you, but guess what? Trouble is brewing underneath. But when your vet visits during this your retainership period agreement, he sees this thing from his lens of a professional. And he immediately tells you, Madam, we need to do this. Either the stocking or the housing or there's something off. Because when something is off with an animal, we know. The moment we come, we know. They don't talk, but we've been trained to identify. So to livestock farmers, definitely retainership is your best bet to protect your investment, to safeguard your own health and that of your family. So yes, and if you have a retainership, we have this culture of forgetting when to deworm.
Yes.
We have a culture of forgetting when to vaccinate. We have a culture to forget when to dip our cows. But when your vet is on retainership, there is an agreement. So whether you're there or not, the vet will come and deliver.
Yeah.
So for you, even as a livestock owner, it's another layer of protection. It's another layer of making sure things are done not when you feel like, but when they should be done. So your retainership definitely is the best bet here. And the cheaper option. Because we don't count, because we don't calculate, that's why we think that things like this are wastage.
So
but they're not.
In essence, the cost of veterinary service is not a waste.
It's not a waste. It's not a cost.
It's not a cost.
But an investment protection strategy.
Okay, so if you bring a veterinarian into your livestock business, you are protecting
your investment.
And it's an essential strategy.
Exactly.
Actually. Okay, so now I want to make this, like you said, subjective now. On a final note, for everybody to be on the same page.
Yeah.
What's the best way to approach a veterinary service? Cheap or affordable?
Okay. Cheap or affordable?
Yes.
Something could be cheap to me and affordable, but to another person is expensive. Okay. And that's why I said these things, the nuances around this thing is subjective, because what do you define as cheap? What do you define as affordable? How many people? Shana, when you know person pocket, you will say, oh, this person can pay or this person cannot pay. That is what
I know why I ask. It's always been a problem between let's talk business owners actually.
Mm.
You see someone who has a large herd of animals and they find it difficult. Sometimes it's funny that when you give them the list of medications to buy, if it's like 2 point something million naira,
They'll rush and buy.
then you buy. When you now say,
This is my service
this is
charge.
my service charge, they say, they want to price it.
And that's the mistake veterinarians make. I will never give you a list of medication. I come, I see your problem. This is what I'm going to charge you to solve the problem. Why should I give a farmer the list of medication?
And you know, sometimes in the farm, probably you are setting up different unit and you are saying, okay.
Yeah, give me, let me know, give me, contract me. I'm here as a consultant. I'll set up your pharmacy. Yes. It's because we do these things. That's why they feel we're indispensable. So what is cheap? What is affordable? As a veterinarian, you need to look and make the farmer understand the worth of his investment and is either ready to pay or not.
Oh.
But you cannot constantly, as a vet, think that because you took an oath, you need to also deprive yourself of earnings to make a decent living.
Yeah.
Because if you continue to offer services like this, what other skills do you have to sustain your own livelihood?
Okay.
So we need to be on the same page. And that is why I told you from get-go, my advice to livestock farmers is to engage the right professionals even before buying these animals. So that the vet can tell you if you're buying 10 animals and you're fattening them for 90 days, this is what the pre-purchase evaluation will cost. This is what the veterinary care in between the 90 days will cost. And then we agree. And then you will umbrella everything under your custom, your operation cost, or whatever it is that you call it. So yes.
All right. So livestock farmers, apparently the veterinary service charge is not a cost, just like our guests have mentioned. It's not a burden. It's actually an investment protection strategy, quite necessary for you. And if you think you have a different opinion, of course, we'll be willing to see you in the comment section. Want you to like, want you to share, want you to subscribe, and also follow us on all our channels on Vetcast TV. And this is Perspectives with Vetcast. And we're definitely going to come your way again. I remain Dr. Makinde Ifeoluwa. Thank you very much, and God bless you.